Welcome, my Blender colleagues. I'm Salvador García Luque, and today I come to talk about video editing with Blender. Today I want to abord the topic of editing video with Blender. For this occasion, what I want to do is a very simple editing of a video. Let's do an introduction to editing video with Blender, because we have here a very flexible and really practical piece of software. If they took the time to this area, it could be an excellent video editor at professional level. For the time being, it has some problems, has some errors, and even commonly it's an habitude to suggest to use the Power Sequencer add-on. But for this occasion, I'm going to cover this video editing without the use of this add-on. So we see the fundamentals and basis of these tools, which we can count on with this program from the start. Let's go meet the video editor. The first thing that I want you to notice is that we are using the version 2.82a, which is another reason why I don't want to use the Power Sequencer, since in the next version, that is coming really soon, the Power Sequencer will have a new version, and this version will be very different. So we'll wait a little longer to talk about that add-on. Now I want you to notice that I'm using the video editing layout or the Windows distribution. I'm not using the default one. I'm using this one that has been provided by the Blender Foundation's programmers. This is a very good option for the Windows distribution for editing video. We have, first of all, a file browser where we can get the files we need to sequencers or sequence windows, one showing the video's pre-visualization and the other one where we can add our video, audio, image files, and even the extra scenes that the blend file has included. Up here we have the properties window where we are going to configure the output and format of our rendered files. And lastly, down here we have the timeline. All these windows are essential for video editing here in Blender. For video editing, the first we'll need is either a video, an image sequence, an audio, or a scene. All those can be found from the file browser or from a folder from our system's file browser. We can drag such files and drop them over our program, which is going to make it add a video track and audio track. Also, if those are not adapted to what Blender has in the FPS and the size, the resolution, Blender will adapt to what the file's format is, which means it'll adapt to the video's size and FPS. Like you may have noticed, before we had 24 frames per second, and it changed to 29.97, otherwise to the NTSC format. If the video file contains an audio track, it'll be added. However, we'll activate the waveform here and we see that it doesn't draw anything, which means that in reality the file is empty in its audio portion. We can also drag our videos or images from the file browser. Here we have an audio file with which we can see what it should appear when the Draw Waveform checkbox is activated. Something that I always activate is the audio scrubbing besides the AV sync or audio and video synchronization. The audio scrubbing will let us navigate as you can hear, we can navigate through our audio track and it'll generate audio. We'll do two things. We'll do a fade from black to the video and we'll do a crossfade between images. This can be done by pressing Shift A or by going to this menu. Shift A, color, and here we have this new strip in which we can control its color. To move the strips, you have to do as you would in the 3D view, either by pressing G and moving the cursor or simply dragging it. Be very careful when a video strip crosses this strip because it'll make the program go really slow. If we hide the strips, we'll see that this doesn't happen, which is preferable if you are going to move these strips to hide them and to remember to show them again before we proceed. I want to extend this color strip's length. I'm going to move it up with G and we are going to see. We have 29 frames per second. This I'm going to adjust it, in fact, to 30. We are going to make this last a couple of seconds, 60 frames. This bar acts like it was this Windows cursor. If we select an end, we can extend our bars. Also, if we want to shorten them, we can move the ends in the opposite direction to reduce them. Shift S to snap the other end. To do this, we have to select the ends, making the arrows to turn white. I'm going to extend another 2 seconds. And I'm going to extend the strip until that point with Shift S. To make a fade from black to color, we have two ways. Let's stick this together. What I just did was different. in fact. If we select the strip's middle and press Shift S, we keep the same strip's length, but we slide the strip at the right of the cursor, being that point where the strip starts. As I was saying, to make a fade to black to the video, we can animate the opacity. We go here to the opacities bar, we press I with the cursor over it to insert an animation keyframe, and after that we go until the right end, change the opacity to 0, and press I again, moving. I'm going to move the audio muted for you to see how it's fading to black because I'm going backwards. When I am going in the right direction, we'll see how it fades to the video. However, I'm going to delete all the keyframes now. And let's use an effect. Select the color strip first, then pressing Shift, the video strip. Press Shift A or go to the Add menu, inside Transition, and select Cross. This new strip appears, indicating that the effect has been added successfully. All this can be edited as well. Its editing options are over here, which are different to these ones, as you can see. Let's extend our video's length until 150. Let's see at which point we can leave the video to cut it, because we don't want the entire video. There are two ways. One is reducing by selecting the ends of the strip and press Shift S. And the other one is by cutting directly. Depending on the side at which the cursor is located, it'll make that side to stay active. We can delete either of the sides we have selected with the Delete key or the X key. Ready. Now I'm going to select this other file. We have this one repeated. This is the one I wanted. Let's delete the audio track again. Let's move this a little bit forward and let's return a couple of seconds. Shift S. And we'll cut this one to around here. Press K and I'm deleting it. Again, here I am adding a video. Let's go backwards another 60 seconds from here. Shift S and ready, we have it. I'm going to fit this audio section a little bit better. Let's move this downward and add the transition. Press the selection button and then with Shift, select the second video track to transition to. The position by itself is not too important. It only matters when we'll use the opacity or the blending modes, which are the same as we can find in an image editor. If we had an image with opacity or a video with opacity, we could use the alpha over and we could make the transparency to work. But as we have it won't show anything. I'm going to use the transition effect. And there is it now. And at last, I'm going to add another fade. This time to black. 485 minus 60. $543, the result was at the end 543. There. And now with this we have limited our video's length size. What we have to do now is to make the audio to really work. Besides that, we have to configure the video's format. I go here to the output, and in the output I'm going to select the FFmpeg video, and from there I'm going to select a video codec. MPEG-4 is one of my favorites. It's the one I use practically all the time. I keep the H.264 video codec. The medium quality has worked really well for me, and we keep the cutting speed in good. Besides, let's remember always to add an audio codec, because if we don't, the video will come out without audio. We can use either of these. The ones that will give no compression or quality lossless output are the FLAC and the WAV. But the WAV format really is not here. It's since they took it away. However, for me, the AAC has been really good. The MP3 can give us some compression snaps. Thus, it's not that good to render a file, unless it's being rendered for the completely last format with compression. If this goes for a different format, like a DVD or Blu-ray, it's preferred to try to leave it with the least loss per compression. We can use FLAC for that. For this case, I'm going to leave the AAC, and simply what is left is to send to render. Now we go here to render, and oh, wait a second. We have to always check that in the post-processing we only have the sequencer activated. If we have both, it may take a little longer or a lot longer, depending if we have a nodes or any other thing that had to compute. So we have to be more cautious with this. Now I do send to render. I'll be back when it's finished. Well, the video has finished rendering already. There we have it. Before finishing, I want to mention two things. Unlike these files, when we want to add an image sequence, we can't add an image sequence simply as we do with the other file formats. By pressing A. if you press A here, and you can see that if I drag it, nothing happens. It only adds an image. To be able to add an image sequence, we have to press Shift A or go to Add Image Sequence. And now from here, we can select all the images and we have to accept here so the file understands that it has to add an image sequence. The other thing that we can add are the scenes. However, if we press Shift A and we go here to the scenes, we see that it says that there are no scenes, even though we do have one. The one that has the editing video. However, the video editor can't take its own scene in which it's the editing being done. It's always needed to create a new scene. We need to add something to this new scene. Let's add quickly a monkey, a camera. Let's position it with Ctrl-Alt-O quickly. Let's soften the monkey a bit. Ready? And before we leave, let's activate the transparency, because if we are not going to add the background, and what I want now is that only the monkey's head appears. Now Shift A, scene.001, there we go. We can see that the monkey is here and the transparency as it was an image. But if we change the blend to alpha over, we have the monkey's head over the video. Perfect for when we want to add special effects to our video. But that will be something that we'll see in some other time. And with that, we finish with the video. I hope you like it. For me, that is all, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later!